And hey, everybody, that's the way it is. Come on in. Come on in, everybody. We see you out there in the hall. Frog G is already in the chat. We love Frog G. Frog G, we can't wait for your campaign to start so that we can tell everybody about your book. Frog G says, "Hail all. Let's start the show out right. Remember to tickle the algorithm. Smash the like, dingle the bells, and subscribe. Absolutely. Ragin 2 Network, folks. Ragin 2 Network. One little bit of housekeeping before we run the opening is that I haven't been barraged, but I've gotten a few calls the last couple of days from people curious about this situation with the campaigns and stuff, and the Fellowship of the Indies, which we'll talk about in a bit, and the Long Shots campaign, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And we're going to save that discussion probably for the next Zimcast, folks. I just want to make it clear to everyone that I am, and Sunday Funnies is not any part of Indie Volt at the moment, or from a couple of months ago on, actually. We separated from, actually, Indie Volt shut me out while I was sick out of the StreamYard. So we haven't remotely been a part of Indie Volt since before I went down. Pretty much I was on the air a couple times while I was in the hospital while we were trying to get this situation figured out. The situation just got worse, especially once I got better. And good morning, Trico. Hope you're doing well. And we're going to discuss that at another time, because that's not what Sunday Funnies is all about. Sunday Funnies is about what we love. It's about our passion. It's about our need for this art form and why we love it so much. So we're going to run the opening, and then we'll bring in a few guests. Some guests you haven't seen in a long time. One guest has never been on Sunday Funnies before. And we'll go from there. And I just want to say thank you so much, everybody, for listening in. Hit that like button, like Frog G said, and we're going to carry on from there. And then worry about stuff another time. We have fun things to talk about today. And we've got Russell Allen in the house. That is the first time he's been on Sunday Funnies, I believe, and he's going to talk about his books and the efforts that he's been doing that are really good. And again, like I said, it's going to be a fun, whimsical, passionate show. And we're going to run that opening now and get stuff underway. Hang on. Here we go. Hey, look who's here.
Senor.
How's it going?
Oh my goodness. It's good. It's, it's like, in spite of everything, it's good. Any day above ground, right?
You don't have to tell me that.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Holy shit. We would have. I'm really glad Daphne showed up today, because Glenn, Glenn B. Fleming, who's normally on the show, is packaging all of his Jack Kirby books today to be shipped out to everyone, and we wish him the very best. He said he'll be listening.
There you go.
We appreciate that. Glenn,
you're welcome for you, Glenn.
A taco for Glenn. That's another great. Well, we should do a comic like that. Anyway, that's a great name for a comic. A taco for Glenn. And hey, everybody, welcome to the Sunday Funnies, where we try to put the fun back in funny books and talk about why we love this art form so very much. Ragin 2 says, good morning, chat. Thank you.
Good morning, Nita.
Morning.
Good morning.
Trico, the professor, is in the house. Sunday Funnies is about things we love. So there's going to be titties.
No, that's House of Bob. That's House of Bob every month. Last Saturday every month.
Last Saturday every month.
10 to midnight.
There you go. House of Bob.
Right,
Is
there we
that
go.
is that on the new card? I hope that's on the new card.
I'm not sure. I think so. I think it's on the new card.
You put a card together that didn't have Sunday Funnies on it.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like we have so many shows now. I'm actually forgetting.
Boom.
Yeah, there we go.
There we are. Once I remove Trico's comment,
Yeah,
you can
there we
see them
go.
all there.
Uh-huh.
Look at that. Look at that lineup.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's like we're getting so many people joining us. It's like I'm forgetting things. I'm forgetting shows.
And I know that's not even all of them. So
Right.
there'll be more coming
Mm-hmm.
along the line. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that. That's a Ragin 2 network, folks. You're going to want to go over there and like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications and all that great stuff. I'm your host for this show. I'm Randy Zimmerman. I've been a longtime alternative and independent comics producer, creator, publisher, everything that you can imagine in this business I've probably done, except for have to be a cog for Marvel and DC.
And maybe cosplaying. Have you cosplayed?
No,
cosplay?
I never have. Not yet, at least.
So there you go. So two things.
And now that I've lost this weight, my choices for cosplay can be better. But originally, I figured the only character I could really cosplay was Volstagg from the Warriors 3.
Oh yeah,
but,
yeah.
It might be fun. Never thought in that direction before. I do have a couple of great, incredibly loud comic book shirts that I might start wearing now that I can actually fit them. So that might be fun, especially here on the broadcast, because keep wearing the dull and the dark colors.
Brighten up the place a bit.
Wife was telling me the other day while she was doing laundry, you have too many dark clothes.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So, hey, everybody, welcome again. Also joining me today is our returning host or co-host, Daphne Lage.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Daphne, introduce yourself.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Yes. My name is Daphne Lage, and I am a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York, which you quickly will observe. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and I am known for the funny animal fantasy adventures, say that 5 times fast, Tall Tales right here. And I am also known for my medieval fantasy soap opera, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn. Both of these you can see on my websites at Tall Tales, Tails. Goodness, that's how early in the morning it is. Online.com and egoworks.com, EGOWRKS. And you can also find me here on the Ragin Network, along with Nita Lanning, every Monday and Friday at 11 a.m. on the Ragin 2 The Vlogs, starting and ending your week with whatever nonsense comes in our head. So check it out.
For Daphne and myself, this is 9 a.m. in the morning on Sunday morning.
It is, yes. And I'm feeling it a little bit.
she's feeling it a little bit. I have to set my alarm, but this is pretty much in my schedule anymore. But getting up, I believe, at 8 a.m. or coming in at 8 a.m. this morning from Missouri, I believe.
Oh, hello.
We have Russell Allen with us today.
What in the world is going on with my camera?
You look fine.
Yeah, you look fine.
Mine, it's only like the bottom corner over here. That's weird. I'll have to try to figure that out. But anyway, good morning, everyone.
Good. You're looking good here. So
all right. So since I'm looking good, Trico, to fulfill your needs and wants, and this is deserving of some support. There you go.
Oh no! There we go.
Oh. See, you didn't specify, Trico.
Right, that's true.
So
that's true.
You didn't specify. So there's your boobies for the morning. Go back, cat, and piggy girl. Show your support for the titties.
Well, I'm awake now.
What? We should warn people we are TVMA DLSV, even though I don't put that warning up in the corner.
Oh my gosh. So a funny story about that real quick. Luis Torres got banned because he said, show me your titties on one of my live streams. And I did it and they banned him. So when I did the charity drive, I did the 1 chip challenge and I was like, I'll go as long as I can as long as everybody keeps donating money. I went an hour and 12 minutes. And we raised like $380 for the kids. So it was totally worth it. So anyway, I'm Russell Allen with Russ Explode Studios. I am an author, a card game creator, a comic writer, a podcaster, and promoter for the indies. I am here for you guys. I love having anybody on. We've had chefs, we've had artists, we've had life coaches. I've had pretty much anything. If anybody's ever looking for anything, I bring them on for that. And I am also a member of CB4K, which is Comic Books for Kids. It is something near and dear to my heart that you'll hear about later. And right now, that is the comic book that is up. It is Cat, Cat, and Piggy Girl, and this is something that's really cool, really meaningful to me. And like, if I'm don't like saying that it is, because I'm really passionate about my projects, but I'm hyper passionate about this project. This means the world to me. So I'm super excited to be here today. Thank you so much for having me on, guys. I'm ready to have some fun, talk some Sunday funnies.
Yeah.
Good. That's awesome.
Everybody got their laugh seeing my nipples, so.
The chat is alive this morning.
Hey,
Frog G is
my camera just fixed itself. Yay.
Oh, there we go.
We deeply appreciate you, Frog G, again. Just thanks so much.
Yes, thank you, Frog.
Sunday There'll be titties. What? Yeah. No. Hail Randy, hail Chad, hail Genuine, hail Dave.
Hello.
Hope you're doing all right, buddy. Thanks for joining us this morning. The Ninja's in the house as well. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ragin 2 says, hail again. Allison in the house. Allison, how are you? Morning all.
Hello.
Morning, Allison. Ragin 2 says, Lage.
I woke up.
Ragin 2. You need to redo the Ragin logo to Lagin.
Oh, well.
Lagin 2.
Lagin.
Yeah. From the desk of a small press publisher.
My name correctly.
Joe, good morning all. Say what?
At least now people pronounce my name correctly.
There you go.
You mean it's not Lage?
Right. It's Lage.
Lage.
No, it's
Lage.
Not. It's Lage. It's German.
Well, so is Zimmerman, but I don't have hardly any German in me. So.
Right. Oh, there you go.
It's long enough.
Speaking of cosplay, though, you know, if you ever fall asleep on the show, Randy, we'll just say you're Rip Van Winkle. I mean, you got the beard going on for that, so you know you got the dark clothing.
Thanks. I had more beard up until a couple of days ago, but the wife and I just got back from a couple of days of, I guess, celebrating our 31st anniversary. 31st wedding anniversary, which was on Friday. We went out to the west coast of Michigan and looked at some water.
Well, there you go.
So.
You know, sometimes that's all it takes. You know, it's like you just sit on the coast and it's just like, I mean, in New York, you don't do that here, but it's like, I mean, if you have to go upstate, you don't go, you go to the Hudson River and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, here you're not more than an hour and a half away from one of the lakes. I'm right in the middle of the mitten of Michigan, and actually it's this way.
Right.
And we drove over to the west side, over to Lake Michigan for a bit, and drove up the coast. And
it was all hiking.
Good. No, well, in my condition, I was happy to do a little walking.
Oh, there you go.
We did run over to Ludington. If anybody who grabs a map can figure out where that is, a much nicer town. Well, that's where we had our honeymoon 31 years ago.
Oh.
So we went there and ate at a little restaurant that's always been there, and visited. We did walk downtown a little bit. Got a couple of books.
Of course.
Ran into an old and new and used bookstore. Picked up a book of Cat Kid Comic Club by Dave Pilkey, so I can sit and read it. And actually, it was a gift for the granddaughter, but don't tell her yet. So she's gotten really heavy into Dog Man.
Right.
And actually, I'm seeing firsthand how Scholastic is teaching kids to read through comics, and that's amazing to me. Something that I always, growing up, that's how I learned to read. Right. That's how I learned to love to read, was by reading those old Carl Barks books and the whatever comics I could greedily get my hands on, because at the time the parents wouldn't allow me to have superheroes because they were too violent. This was back during the Adam West Batman days. Once I was able to buy superheroes, I knew everything all about comics before I bought superhero books, because they turned into a bright, shiny object for me. And I loved the art form, the combination of words and pictures, and just kept, stopping at the library and reading and everything that they had on comics, which wasn't a lot. But I've since gone back and bought all of those books that I used to scour in the library just to have them.
So is that the big difference that you're seeing nowadays? Is how different it is for kids getting into comics?
Well, go ahead.
No. no, yeah, because I'm just kind of wondering, because like obviously, I mean, there has to be a difference from when you were younger and now,
Well,
buying
yeah.
classic books.
Yeah, well, back when I was a kid, comics were a quarter. You could go in
Oh, well,
and buy a book. I had a arrangement with my local drugstore. I lived 2 miles away from downtown, and so I hated riding the bus because it was one of the worst experiences ever. Outside of a few classes that I had when I was in high school that still have burned into my soul pretty much. But I had an arrangement with the drugstore that I would pass by on my way home from school, straighten up the comic book rack for them, because the ladies that watched the counter at the drugstore did not care for comics at all. And so they didn't have a spiral rack like this. They had a magazine rack, and it was full of comics. And half of them at the time when I first started arranging them were really old, because they didn't bother to pull the old ones. They just kind of stacked them up or pulled certain stuff they knew were damaged or were crinkly. But it was a pretty large stock of comics that at that point nobody really wanted to read. But I went and straightened everything out for them, and probably upped their comic sales, because everybody knew that they would let me put up the new ones too every Tuesday when they came in. So there'd be a group of 4 or 5 of us that would storm the drugstore, and they wouldn't let anybody else put them up. But I would get there, I'd pop the bundle and arrange them out and hand out, you're the Spider-Man fan, here's your Spider-Man book. You're the Captain America fan, here's your Captain America book, that kind of stuff.
Oh wow! So you were like the local dealer.
Yeah, like the local czar.
So did your childhood OCD like kick in, and it's just like, oh no, this has to be in alphabetical order, or did you put it like, no, you had to put it in like storyline order, or
no, it was alphabetical. I did it alphabetically just to keep things easier. So storyline order would have been even back then would have been a little crazy, but I remember going through the Avengers versus Defenders war back when I was in high school. I believe that's when I discovered the direct market, because I used to drive back and forth to a hardware job that I had in downtown Flint, and it was as bad or almost as bad then as it is now. But there was a bookstore that they had their adult aisle that you would get the really hardcore stuff down, but he also got comics from Big Rapids distributors. Big Rapids, Michigan is up here in the northern part of the state. They were one of the first real direct comic distributors. They ended up blending into Glenwood, I believe. And Jim Friel, who was working that, ended up going out and working for Bud Plant out on the west coast of the country. But we got the direct market books were 3 weeks in advance from the regular distribution books. So there'd be an Avengers that had come out, and a week later I could pop in and pick up the next issue and, take it to school and go, hey,
look what I got.
Look at what I got.
I got the goods.
But there were a whole lot of kids reading comics during my junior and senior high school days. So, there's a picture of me drawing during study hall class, because I used to carry around a tackle box with art supplies and used to draw and ink at school. And they've got a picture from over my shoulder, the drawing that I was working on, with the tagline underneath going, "It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Randy."
Oh, there you go.
So.
Yeah, so
well, comics aren't what they used to be. I mean, back in that time, Randy, you were a nerd, you were an outcast, because comics weren't cool, and it's crazy how, even in my time growing up, comics were not a big thing. I didn't have any real local comic stores, but when I would go into the local grocery store, the IGA, they had the multi-packs that you buy. It'd be like 8 back issue comics for, $7, and I would pick those up and, see what kind of cool gems I could find inside there. But everybody's like, oh, you read comic books. And, then Marvel starts releasing all these movies. DC starts releasing movies. And now you go to Comic Cons where it used to be, 300 people. And now there's like 10,000 people at the Comic Cons. There's all these vendors, and it's like the end thing to be cosplaying. And it's like, Where were all you people back in
Right.
the day when this would have been fun?
Yeah.
Well, you see, the irony of it though is that we can go to a show that has like 3,000 people, but like how many people are actually comic book fans? Because how many times have you heard, oh, so do you like comics? Oh yeah, I love comics. I saw all the movies.
Right. Yeah. Well,
that's
nothing
the trade-off.
Nothing surprised me more when one of the my nieces and nephews would come up and go, I just picked up an X-Men book. What do you know about the X-Men? It's like, you got a couple of hours?
Right.
Holy crap. You know, there's a couple of really big comic readers now in our family, which is just amazing to me, and something that I would have never expected, especially in my younger years.
Right.
Because like what Russell said, I was really the nerd growing up. I was the oddball who was drawing comics in high school.
Right.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's like,
why are you doing that for? Yeah.
Right. Like comics, even though I've heard time and time again, I learned how to read, not me personally, but like I learned how to read through comics.
Yeah.
But somehow it was all like, if you read comics, it meant you were subliterate.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, wait a minute. It's like, you can't have, it's like, they can't have both.
And I was going to mention before, but nowadays it seems like a two-edged sword to me, because you've got books like Scholastic. You got companies like, like Scholastic that are kicking out graphic novels for kids. But the majority of the kids now are reading manga. And that really bothers me. Not because it's Japanese comics, but because of the way that they're printed and meant to be read from right to left, up to down, from back to front. Yeah. And I think that adds to a lot of reading problems for kids, because I've caught myself, doing that when I try to read a manga in reverse. I get to the bottom of the page and I automatically turn to the left instead of to the right instead of the left. Yeah. And it drives me nuts, because it pulls me out of the story. Then you get back in, and with the way manga is designed, it's a quick read. Yeah. And so you go boom, boom, boom. There's 3 panels, 4 panels in those 2 pages, and you go to turning it.
Right. Yeah.
Then you got to turn the other direction. You read. Right. You read. It's just to me, it's super frustrating, and I can't help but think that it's really messing up a lot of kids, especially the diehard readers, the ones that are really into manga and really know how to read those books and are going through and being entertained like they should be with manga, and then they have to go to school and read their book left to right, up to down.
Yeah.
That's got to be throwing the textbooks off.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm hoping that, because I don't think anyone's really done any actual study on that, because you would think that manga has been a thing for a while. So that would be something that would be really noticeable. That I'm kind of hoping that, that kids, that when they get to a certain age, I mean, I'm about to say they'd figure it out, but the problem is that, like I've been reading manga for just as long, and I hate the backwards. Well, it's backwards for us, that's the thing.
Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah, it's backwards for us. And I remember when I got the first volume of Berserk, the Dark Horse edition, I didn't realize I was reading it backwards until like I hit a certain point. And it was just like, wait, this doesn't make any sense. But the thing is, the way that that particular volume is bookended, you could have read it backwards and the story still kind of makes sense. Huh. And then I realized that I had been reading it backwards, and I was just like a quarter into it. I go, oh, I had to go back. But the funny thing is that when you start Berserk from the beginning, you're smack in the middle of a scene. So you think you hit the end. You're reading the ending when you're not. No, that's the very beginning of the book. So it was a mess. It was a mess. It took me a while.
Well, something cool that Scholastic is doing too is one of the books that we got from when Roderick was in ECD, which is early childhood development. It's kind of like preschool. We put him in there because of his heart surgeries. He lost the ability to talk, and so he's really far behind on his speech now. Every time he has a surgery, he regresses with something. You never know what it is, but it's just a symptom of the heart-lung bypass. Well, he knew how to tie his shoes, but he forgot that too. So when the Scholastic book, Little Flyer, came home, I was looking through it, and they had this really cool thing. It was a Spider-Man, one of those cardboard books where the pages were cardboard. and it was like a mini comic, and then it had the laces that came through the covers, and it was Spider-Man teaching them how to tie their shoes. And I thought that was really cool because
that's awesome.
not only is it teaching them something, it's also like, hey, check this out. There's Spider-Man. Here's like some kind of a comic form. It was fun for him. He every day would read the book, try to tie his shoes, and it was a great thing for him. So
Yeah.
they're really trying to use some cool ideas of things to get kids into comics, nonchalantly, like, oh, here, we'll kind of sneak in Spider-Man here for a tie your shoe book and see if it, hits home. And it did a great job. He loves Spider-Man.
Yeah, I saw a video a couple of weeks ago where they were talking about graphic novel sales and how the #1 DC graphic novel is a Beast Boy graphic novel that Scholastic puts out.
Oh.
It's a young adult novel.
I mean, and I know for the longest time you kind of had beef with Scholastic, but
I did.
It's like, at what point did you feel like that opinion of yours was changing? That it's like, oh, wait a minute,
again, with all of those, with everything in life that you get these preconceived notions about or these upfront prejudices about. Once you go through and educate yourself as to what's actually going on and what they're actually doing, and you get empathetic about their intentions. My big problem with Scholastic for a while was that they were never releasing their numbers, and that they would say, "Hey, we're doing all of these books for kids," and it's like, well, you're not seeing a whole lot of people reading.
Right.
Well, it's not Scholastic's fault. There are people out there reading Scholastic books. And like I said, my granddaughter took to Dog Man like there was no tomorrow. And we've given her a couple of Dog Man books in the past. And we know she hasn't read Cat Kid yet because it's kind of new. But I'm reading that right now. The Pilkey's books are incredibly easy reads. And you just pour right through them. And they're very, I want to be nice, rustic.
Right.
I don't want to talk down about his art style, but it intentionally looks like somebody in elementary school or junior high drew it and wrote it. But it's really good, and especially this book, which I thought I'm only like halfway through it, one sitting, but it is amazing because it's about a group of animals with Cat Kid or the Petey. I think the main character's name is teaching kids how to do comics. And it goes through about, how do you start a fun comic? Let's do a comic. And it's like they're teaching a class, and the other characters in it's like a schoolroom setting are all angry against, having to do homework. Well, you have to go home and make a comic. When would that ever make any of us mad?
Right. Exactly.
If we were in school, I got a science project in the 7th grade. I think I just got it back from the family that I did about dairy and farming. That I did back in the 7th grade. I drew it up as a comic, and she gave me an A++.
Oh. For
it, and she said it was amazing. She sat and read it, and the teacher at the time read it and loved it. But it's stuff like that, it's stuff like that helps the kids' education, help my education. I know that firsthand about, farming and dairy and all of that. And I can't help but see the good in it now. So I'm like, okay, Scholastic, the only thing I hope, and I would love to get Dave Pilkey or what's the other, the lady,
Telemagier?
No, Rain.
She lives in a castle by
Raina,
now.
The girl that did
Telemagier, right?
Telgemeier.
Right.
Raina Telgemeier, I think her name is.
Yeah, I don't know. Telemagier.
I wish they would do more interviews inside the comic community, because they're a major part now of comics that more people all the time are starting to realize. Every Dogman book that comes out, every Telgemeier book that comes out, they realize these kids are picking up these books,
right? And
how much they're pulling from that, and how much more of that there needs to be that is entertaining and not, again, with the same problem with Marvel and DC, all propagandic. Because that's why the DC Scholastic Beast Boy book sells well, is that it's not it's preachy, but it's not really preachy.
Right.
Where a lot of the stuff that DC has done in the past that they consider YA novels is just horribly over the top.
Ham-fisted.
Ham-fisted preachy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you almost expect a character to come out and say, "Today I learned," you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
well, it's
kids.
Yeah, but it's a outgrowth from those old '80s cartoons where you had the main character come up to me and, "Today, kids, we learned this," because every cartoon had to teach kids something. Yeah. No, that's not the way that's not why Looney Tunes are evergreen. You know,
right? Exactly. Although it's kind of hard to catch Looney Tunes on TV nowadays.
Yes, that's very true. Well, it's more than true. Yeah. But it's it did teach kids not to buy anything from the Acme company.
Right. Well, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Well, although to be fair, though, it's like the coyote was probably not following all of the instructions
and using it for his own devices. Yeah. Joe says morning. Yes.
Hey,
good morning. Matching.
Morning, Joe.
Morning. Everybody says morning. Welcome to Sunday Funnies. Classics. Classic live. Well, we're not the classic shows. Right, those are listed as classic over on the Ragin 2 pages. Daphne's been putting those together. We've got 3 of them up there so far. Great interviews.
Yeah.
All episodes that we're incredibly proud of, and we hope that you take the time, if you haven't watched them, to watch them or to go back and watch them. It would have been fun to have gotten like Neil Adams on.
Right. Oh yeah. Pour one out for the homie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was just as, I mean, it's funny. Yeah. It's like, I was just as devastated to I mean, this guy was such a staple at every convention, every New York convention.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, and then it's like, what do you mean he's gone? You know? And
yep. I was in Ludington at a hobby shop.
Yeah.
And the girl there has a couple of original Magic card illustrations framed and on the back wall. And we were talking about that. And I told him about Susan and Van Camp and all that.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, there was a big comic guy that just died." I says, "Oh, who was that?" Because I hadn't seen it. Right. I didn't see it on my Facebook feed. Right. It had just happened and was just getting out.
Right.
She got up on her computer and says, "Oh, some guy named Neil Adams."
Yeah, I was like, kind of like that. I mean,
are you kidding?
You know, and it's kind of messed up because it's like, you know, because we already watch and keeping an eye on George Perez, and now it's even like somebody keep an eye on George Perez.
Because that's who I thought. That's who the first name that popped into my head. Well, what big comic guy could be? Oh, well, George.
Yeah, I was shocked to find out it was Neil Adams because that was exactly what crossed my mind was George Perez.
Yeah.
You know, Neil Adams his art in Vampirella was really what inspired me to start collecting Vampirella. And then, you know, the final cover that he had done for the Vengeance of Vampirella Volume 2, Number 1, just blew me away. It was, you know, something that I posted online. It was like, you know, every time you thought Neil Adams did his best piece, he would always one up it on the next piece. And you were just like, how do you keep doing this? You know, his Superman, his Batman, his Vampirella art. It was just all astounding. And
that's why
he was a mentor
DC,
to kids.
Yeah, that's why DC had him doing those covers for so many years. Because he sold comics. He sold product.
Like there was a level of like this. I mean, it was beyond dynamic. This man knew how to make his artwork move. It's like I had the privilege of visiting Continuity Studios before the pandemic really hit and everything shut down. It was me, JD, and a friend of ours, and we were originally at another gallery looking at a Walking Dead exhibition where it's like they had pages of the Walking Dead on display, and and it's like I'm always game to try to study original artwork, like really getting up close to original artwork.
Yeah,
and no, for real, like and the person who was curating the show, we were leaving and it says, "Oh, Continuity Studios is just around the corner. Why don't you go there and see if they'll give you a tour?" And we were like, "Okay, cool." And we went over there. We were the only ones there. And the receptionist was so happy to see us. You know? And we literally got a private tour of Continuity Studios, and it was just like original after original after original after original. I mean, it's like it's like all the you know, the continuity books from the 90s, I guess, like, no, yeah, it's like you know, like Samurai and Armor and all that, because that's how I really, you know, like, got familiar with Neil Adams, especially with some of the stuff he was doing in Samurai. But then it's like, you know, you'd see his older stuff. And I mean, it's just like iconic image after iconic image. And it's like, you know, they had the originals to the Superman versus Muhammad Ali. And and he was explaining, and you could see where all the little caricature, not that caricature, all the portraits, the celebrity portraits,
especially at wraparound cover. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
that's iconic.
And I think that there was one of them. I think it was Telly Savalas, who I guess like changed his mind. Like he wouldn't allow them to use his image, so you could see where he was pasted out or something. I mean, it was just really, I mean, it was just like, although honestly, the one thing that I really remember that really stood out for me was it was a Bucky O'Hare piece, but it was a Michael Golden original. And look, all I know is that the place was like magic. And when we left, it was like I felt like I was holding my breath the entire time. Huh. And when we got home, it's like, I got to lie down for a while. I have to process this. You know? So, yeah. So Neil Adams will definitely be missed, because I don't think there's anybody bringing that level of like just like movement, you know, to 2D artwork. I mean, it's just like, you know, there was some Tarzan paintings that somebody had posted, you know, and it was just like, how did I miss this? Why am I only seeing it now?
Well, that's because they came out a long time ago. That's
you know, it's like, right, but you would, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's like, it just goes to show you that if there is an artist that you really admire and you want to study and you want, you know, it's like, go digging for their stuff, because you know what? I shouldn't be finding out about all these Tarzan paintings after the man passes. You know?
Yeah.
I apologize, guys. My cat is attacking me.
No, not at all.
She's like,
yeah,
love me.
Oh, you're on camera.
Mine is sleeping on the couch, but she's exactly the same, so don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. So how you doing, Jimmy?
Well, I took some sleeping pills, but I'm finally awake again.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I know the 9 a.m. shows are a little tough.
Yeah.
No, like I was so worn out yesterday and so stressed out that I just chucked some fucking melatonin and just flopped.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So I woke up at way later than I normally do, and it felt great. I'm finally alive.
Right.
That's how it was Friday. I broke down. Like, I got to work at 4 and loaded. I get out. It's like 6:30. I'm a mile from my first stop, and the truck breaks down. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I have a show tonight, and I have a really long route. So I was broke down for 3 hours. Yeah, well, 3.5 hours. I finally get on the road at like 10 something, and I get to my first stop, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be home so late. Right. And so I didn't get home till like, I don't know, 7:45 here. So I had like a 15.5-hour day. And I inhaled a taco from Taco Bell, and I'm like, all right, Phil, I'm ready. And we got on and we did the live show. I was so tired, I forgot to take my meds. And I laid down in bed for a few minutes, you know, just to like relax and I woke up at like midnight and I couldn't move. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? So I'm like crawling up the stairs to go get
Oh my God.
That's quite the collection.
So what treasures did you dig out?
Speaking of Neil Adams.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for real.
There's he did an entire series of Tarzan books at one point.
I mean,
illustrated
look at that.
covers
It's like,
for them.
look at how they're moving. You know, it's like these are 2D illustrations.
Mm-hmm.
He was quite an artist, man. His art was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like this Vampirella piece that I was showing off a little bit ago.
Yeah, no, for real,
Mhm.
It's
Absolutely
like
gorgeous.
Currently, Joe Jusko is working for the Burroughs estate and doing cover art and one or two interior line pieces for reprints for Tarzan, the Tarzan books that Burroughs did.
Wow.
And that artwork compares to this.
Right.
That
It
is
does.
awesome.
But you see a lot of, I think, in Neil's paintings here, you see a lot of Boris Vallejo as well.
Yeah. A lot of Frazetta, a lot of more. I would think more
And
Frazetta than
that
Boris.
background is pure Frazetta there.
Yeah.
But the
is.
sharpness and definition of the figure,
Yeah.
that's definitely Vallejo. That's
Absolutely. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
a sketch there, more than a painting. Compared to some of the other ones, here's Tarzan, the Jewels of Opar. This looks like a comic illustration.
Yeah.
Page that he would have, or piece that he would have done. That's done in pen and ink. Some of these are in color, some of them are in pen, or some of them are painted, some of them are in pen and ink and with color behind them. Some great stuff though, just unbelievable. Look at that composition. Everything points right to Tarzan. The spears and the hand, everything. It's just unbelievable. There's another. That's a kind of a classic.
Yeah.
Oh
Tarzan. That's on Tarzan and the Return of Tarzan. You can tell I caught all of these on sale.
Of course.
These bookstore. That whole set.
That's the best. That's the best find.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
then,
that one. That one was the one that's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Look, I mean, that is just
man.
That is just
that's an art study in itself.
Yeah.
That piece.
Yeah.
Just the composition, the layout, the anatomy, just everything on that.
I mean, it's like, look, Neil Adams had the reputation of making grown men cry.
Yeah.
At conventions. But it's like, you know what? If anybody's going to make you cry, it should be Neil Adams.
This blew me away.
He inspired a lot of artists to draw like that. And that's a good and bad thing because a lot of folks came out looking like someone coming out of Continuity Studios, but you can look at and see a lot of Adams in a lot of people's work. Jim Lee, it just stands out prominently. Everything that he does, you look at it and go, oh, yeah, that's okay. But Neil, when you draw a Batman like that, it's like, okay, that's nice. But the classic Jim Lee pose is from the boot out. Where with Neil, his classic Batman pose is from the hand out, and Batman's leaning forward and running. It looks, so much compositionally.
Yeah, there was
so much eye pleasing.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you mentioned the glove because I was back when I was at SVA, I was in Denny O'Neill's class, and Denny O'Neill was just telling like this kind of like this throwaway story. It's like I don't even remember the context of it. So he was talking about Neil like about how I guess like there was like an artist had gave him a page, a Batman page or something, and and it had the glove, and I guess like it was a close up of Batman's glove or something, and then Neil came in, looked at it, took a pen, and just drew a line down the side of the glove there, and Denny O'Neill said, all of a sudden, that one line transformed the entire piece. Where it's like this one line just going right there. And it was funny. Like I said, it was a throwaway line. It was a throwaway story. But from then on, from that story on, I started drawing a line. Every time I drew a glove, I always made sure to put that seam line in it. So it's like, I was like touched by Neil Adams, kind of like, third party, fourth party.
I was going to say that might explain why all these characters have little veins in their costumes now. Little channels.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's all he did was put that in. And all of a sudden, Denny was saying how all of a sudden the piece was like 3-dimensional. That just one line just did everything. Yeah. So always, So if you see my artwork and there's a line in a glove like that, that's Neil's influence.
Neil also had the reputation for being a harsh critic of anybody that brought him a portfolio because he wanted people to learn.
Yeah.
But sometimes I watched at one of the New York shows where he was particularly harsh to a kid who had brought up his portfolio. And it was like, he was picking on his anatomy and taking apart his, you call that an ear? I remember that distinctly because later in the show, somebody brought me up their sketchbook to draw a sketch in it. And there was a Neil Adams Green Lantern in there. And there wasn't the ear in there was just a couple of squiggly lines.
Right.
And I'm like looking at it going, you call that an ear?
Right.
Holy crap.
Oh man.
But yeah, R.I.P. Neil Adams. He will definitely be missed. He's somebody who worked right up until he couldn't anymore. I'm not even sure how he passed,
I read that he died of sepsis, and I'm like going, how does somebody die of sepsis?
No, that's possible. It's not too unusual.
I mean, it was just like, but that's all the information that they gave out, and it's like, oh my goodness, like that's simple, I guess.
My sister caught sepsis in Florida. They literally had to take her on the operating table, open her up, remove all of her organs, and clean them and put them back in.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's what my grandpa passed away of, was sepsis. Basically, it's
never
just
been
an
the same
infection
since.
that riddles your body. I mean, my grandpa had cancer on his spine. They had done surgery to take it out, and they did chemo, and he went on a year and was doing fine. Well, it came back, and he ended up getting a bed sore, and that bed sore caused an infection, and that infection caused sepsis.
Wow.
And that's
that's the thing. Yeah. Right. Like I'm thinking, like you scratched yourself on a nail or something, and it's like that's like Victorian times stuff.
No, that would be tetanus.
Right, but right, exactly. Right. But it's like, still, it's like sepsis. It's like, really, what? Wait, it's like
it's not as unusual as you're thinking.
Wow.
Yeah, because like chemo knocks out your autoimmune system. Right, so anything that you take medical wise, medicine and some treatments cause autoimmune deficiencies, and that's all it takes is to have an autoimmune deficiency. You get an infection, and it turns into this monstrous raging thing that they can't do anything about it. Like we couldn't even visit my grandpa. They had him in plastic, and the CDC shut down the whole room, and they went in like full hazmat suits and everything up until he passed. We couldn't even visit him anymore.
Wow.
Because it's that contagious.
That's not the kind of infection you want spreading through a hospital either.
No, exactly. Yeah.
No.
That's crazy. But
so, it's a lot more lethal than you thought.
Right. So. Yeah, definitely. And Neil Adams, man,
Yeah.
Well, it was great yesterday to see all the pictures. That was like the best memorial ever. Yesterday and the day before, everybody posting the con pictures of him mentoring them, showing them, helping them out, him taking pictures with kids. It showed the person that he was. Yeah. He was always willing to help and inspire others.
He's very I always remember him being very approachable, but you had to really kind of wanted to be approached. It's like, because again, it's like this is a man who made grown people cry. Also, it was another convention where it's like I also remember it was, so Neil Adams, usually when he sets up, he has like these double layer of tables with all his prints on it. And it's like the kind of there's a path in the middle, and he's kind of like on a raised table with his drawing table. So he's sitting there like a king. And Steve Rude was on his knees in front of Neil Adams, and they were just talking because I think Steve Rude is super tall.
Oh yeah.
And we saw this, and it's like, oh, look at Steve Rude paying homage to the Pope.
Whoops.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was really fun. But that's Neil Adams.
Yeah.
Neil Adams was comics Pope.
Ragin 2 says she's trying not to end up in Oz with this weather. Yeah.
Oh, for real.
Have to be from Kansas first.
Yeah, I don't know. Tornadoes seem to be going everywhere now, wherever they want now.
We had a hellacious storm run through here last night, so it's probably on its way to Nita now.
Right.
It got crazy. Like the wind here was so strong, I thought it was ripping our siding off of our house.
Yeah, we had a weather alert too, and it seemed to have passed through pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was all night. My daughter was up screaming, "Dad, Dad, it's gonna get me. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're 6 years old.
Right.
A storm has not killed you yet. I'm
Right.
37. A storm has not killed me
Right,
yet.
exactly,
You're gonna
yeah.
be fine. Like, I
Context.
promise. It's listen, you're in the house, it's outside, it
Right.
doesn't come inside, you're
Right.
fine. And,
Right,
and so like
exactly.
every hour it was Dad,
Right.
Dad.
Yeah.
Tina,
Like apparently
Rita,
I can
Rita.
protect her from the weather.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
You know.
Frog G still in the house. Thank you so much. Glenn says, "Hey Randy, hey Glenn, hope you're doing okay."
Glenn.
Hey Daphne, see what you
Hey,
missed,
hi.
Glenn.
Yeah, see?
Well, he didn't miss it at all. Actually, he's just
Oh, you're
listening to us
listening
as he's
to it,
packing
so
up his
yeah, we're
Jack
good.
Kirby book. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Morning, Joe.
Everyone's fulfilling their crowdfundings now.
Oh dear Lord, tell me about it. I gotta.
I think that goes back to Russell earlier. Psycho says, "So there goes my morning wood."
Right, yeah.
OMG, we just got canceled.
Oh, yeah.
Boy.
Oh boy.
That's how far back in the
Why
chat
did I miss that?
Well, you missed it, Mike. What happened is he asked if we were going to do boobies today because that we're talking about favorite things, and so I showed my boobies off. I was like, "Here you go," unsolicited boobies.
And I told him to tune into House of Bob every Saturday on Saturday, last Saturday of every month. So it segued nicely into a commercial.
That reminds me, I should double check and make sure we're still on Facebook.
Right, yeah.
Just in case.
Oh no, I think
so. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, we should be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still there. It's all good.
But however, though, I guess it's like just for everybody who all you watchers out there who are following us on
Chris,
Facebook, on Twitter, wherever you're seeing us from regions beyond, come on over to YouTube. It's more fun over here. Come on, join the sexy people in the chat. Look at all these sexy people in the chat. You want to be here. These are where all the cool kids are. Come on over to YouTube. Hit that notification bell. Get notified every time we go live.
Absolutely.
We got something every single day for you guys. Like there is not a single day you will be bored.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always a little something to listen to. So.
Everybody
saying good morning. Good morning, Glenn. Hello.
Yes.
The Ninja says, "I'm sorry, seen a lot of comics, but I was young. That's when I seen."
A lot of the comics that you're familiar is the 90s. Yeah.
Everybody has their own point of reference.
Mm-hmm.
For me, Neil Adams was X-Men. I stumbled across him on X-Men, Giant Size X-Men 2, I believe, reprinted a couple of Neil Adams stories with Sauron, the flying reptile in it. That I remember sitting there going, well, this is unusual. Look at this composition. This is weird. And then I ran across some of the old Dead Men and started reading, looking out for more Neil Adams stuff.
Yeah.
Comic Book Black Belt said, just checked and found that many mainstream outlets have carried his story about time.
For real, yeah.
MSM spoke of comics as culture and legends like Neil Adams as cultural icons. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I don't know why it would have surprised me that his, because even the Hollywood Reporter, I think that was the article there. It was in the Hollywood Reporter. It's like, wow, it's like, really? It's like, you guys know about him?
Well, I can't think of anybody that helped Batman grow up.
You're like, let me see if
more than what Neil Adams did, because back in the 70s they were having such a hard time breaking past the camp of the Adam West Batman. And then Neil come out with that Joker story that has that iconic picture in it of Batman running forward that you've seen over and over again, that they've used on the covers of so many books. And it's just iconic in general. It's a figure that you would recognize immediately.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like, this is like, I'm just doing like a quick search and it's like, this is like freaking international news. It's like, he's like, I'm seeing like, there's an article here from Greece.
Yeah.
It's like, and Japan and Mexico. And I mean.
Well, and as people have pointed out, he didn't just go through and change everybody's art style. Yeah. He also went through and was a big advocate for creators and creators' rights, getting the artwork back to Kirby, getting Siegel and Schuster some recognition and some royalties for the many decades that Superman was out, that they were penniless and struggling to live. Just it's so much good and positive change in the industry. Thanks to Neil, that he deserves every notation that he gets. You know, and like you said earlier, everybody's got a story with him at a show.
Right? Because because you really could just walk up to him if you wanted. You know, it's not like he was royalty, but he was royalty you could approach. I mean, so it was. He was just different. Like I said, he was such a regular at local conventions.
And they talk about how Bill Sienkiewicz got his first job. Was Neil Adams getting a hold of, I believe it was Doug Monch, and going, "You need to look at this Sienkiewicz guy because he draws just like me."
Right. Well, there's
that'll get you fired.
Well, it's like the whole Frank Miller story, where Frank Miller kept showing up every week. Every time Neil would say, "You suck, kid, go home," and it's like, okay, he went home, but he would come back the next week. And then there just came a point where Frank got to a point with his artwork where Neil goes, "Okay, wait right here. Don't go home."
And that shows a lot of dedication, honestly. Like it's not easy to be a starting artist, not an aspiring one, because the moment you make something, you're no longer aspiring artist.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Neil probably figured out too that Frank wasn't going to get discouraged, so they might as well start, teaching.
Yeah, get into the real deal. Yeah.
That, but also the thing is too, is like, especially like, we've been in this game long enough. We've seen people come and go, and honestly, it's like, it really is. It's like the reason why we have the longevity that we do, it is because nobody could tell us to stop.
That's very true. Yeah. I tell everybody, once you pick up your first book, it gets in your blood, and you decide then if you're going to do it for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way it works.
And that's what Neil was sussing out of Frank and probably everybody else that he talks to. It's like, are you really serious about this? It's like, if you want to work for the big companies, are you willing to do what it takes? I mean, that's really what Neil was teaching everybody. And it's like, and if you're the type to go crying, crying to mommy because somebody said that you sucked, you're not fit for this.
No.
You definitely have to build a skin.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, there's some people who it's like, they only need that one person to tell them that they suck, and then they never draw again.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, this wasn't for you. Then you can't hack it. That's fine. That happens. But if you can,
and I think that's happened to some length of time for anybody that's been in the business, that you have somebody come up and you go, "Okay, I guess I can't," and then whether it's an instant or a day or a week or whatever later, you go, "No, fuck that."
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to keep drawing.
Right.
Screw that guy. It's just his opinion,
Right. Exactly.
Whoever.
It's like, okay, I suck. Well, I guess I better keep doing it then.
The Ninja says Tarzan was a very Tarzan versus Tiger with a spear.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever get a chance to sit and read the books, it's very much soap opera for men. Macho soap opera, I guess you would say. It's not necessarily just for men, but it's so cool at the end of Tarzan of the Apes, where he has the chance, and he knows he's Lord Greystoke. He's been told that he's got an estate in England that he's inherited and all of this, and he goes, "I'm going back to the jungle."
Right.
Later.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, and here's the thing too. It's like, because that's those pulp novels, even the magazines for men back in the day, weasels tear my flesh, type of thing,
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, these were macho stories for guys, and it's like, and there was a certain fun to them.
Surprisingly, mostly better written than a lot of people realize.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, that's what a lot of these pulp stories were, and it's like, just like like most romance. I mean, speaking generally, you have Regency romances that were definitely targeted to women, and you had the pulp fantasy that was the Tarzans and whatnot targeted for men, and it's like that was fine. It's like everybody has their, it's like there's just these certain tropes that we all individually enjoy, and also just enjoy as a generality.
Harlequin books still come out to this day.
Yeah, exactly.
There are still Harlequin romance books out there aimed at girls and women to read who like reading that kind of material.
Right.
Just like you can still find reprint volumes of Robert E. Howard stuff or the old macho barbarian stuff. And a lot of that is surprisingly, Howard was a surprisingly good, competent, more than competent writer. And really created a lot of the sword and sorcery tropes that you see, if not all of them, that you see around today. He showed
which we all love.
Needs to be done, which we all love.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Tarzan. Tarzan was such an iconic character for so many years, and it's next to impossible to get a movie done anymore that's faithfully adapted or close to the last Tarzan movie was about as close to the actual novels as you'll ever get, and it flopped at the box office because even though it had Margot Robbie in it as Jane and was it Skarsgård, I believe was Tarzan. It was really a competent movie, but it just did not. It was not going to click with an audience who thought of Tarzan as running around with Cheetah.
Right. Yeah. And also it's like there are tropes that let's just say they're a little questionable in today's day and age. That is kind of like a little hard to.
Sure. Yeah. In context, absolutely.
So it's like there comes a point where certain mythology kind of like stops working for a modern audience, unless it gets retooled to a point where it's unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a shame that I guess like media criticism has gotten to a point where it's like, unless something is specifically like made for now, it's like, it's too old for us to recognize, for us to and it's like, no, you can still enjoy this stuff. I mean, yes, it's like you have to remember the social context of the time that this material came from.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it and know what you're looking at.
There are still kids that enjoy the Grimm's fairy tales today, even though they're not necessarily meant for kids.
Right, exactly. Well, technically they were meant for kids. These were how lessons, stay away from the stay out of the woods, pretty much.
Stay out of the woods.
Right.
Keep out of that lady's oven. That's
exactly.
Don't trust grandma if she looks like a wolf.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Yes. So that's kind of like the unfortunate thing, and it's kind of like we were talking about Looney Tunes, how it's like now you have to buy DVDs, you have to like really search it out to get these cartoons, especially if you want like the uncensored versions. And even then everything has, even from the beginning, there was a certain amount of editing that went on in these cartoons anyway.
Well, a lot of the cartoons were redone.
Right. Yeah.
When they didn't have a solid idea, they'd go back and just redo an old one.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and the fact that this older content is getting harder and harder and harder to get your hands on, because social mores are kind of like forcing them out of any type of popularity whatsoever. And I think that's a shame. I really do, because it's like I think that we're missing out on a lot of artwork. We're missing out on a lot of stories. And like I said, it's like you don't have to take it literally.
But isn't that with everything in art in general? Ends up becoming passé, and only a few people recognize and appreciate what it was. That's why we have art museums filled with Victorian paintings. You're not seeing them out on a regular basis everywhere. Is that the art or the culture, like you said, shifts and changes, evolves, and moves forward. And well, quite frankly, we know better, especially about how to treat other cultures and people and how to treat people in general. And back then, that stuff was all considered to be hip and funny.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You know,
I'm kind of interested to see how Chippendale Rescue Rangers works out, because they're bringing that back.
Well, they try that every decade or so.
Yeah, it's something.
Well, I mean, for one thing, Gadget is going to make a whole new slew of furries.
Well, as always. No matter
always.
what they try to do no matter how they try to design, Gadget is like the ultimate. It's like she's supposed to be like the ultimate tomboy, and it's like, okay, don't go on Fur Affinity. You're looking for artwork. So no matter what they do, we can't make her sexy. You don't have to. It's okay.
No, the world will do it for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fandom's got this covered.
We've passed the top of the hour. We need to pay a few bills and then get right back to this. We'll be right back on the other side. Just going to be a couple of minutes, a couple little videos and stuff for you to watch. And we'll see you on the other side with the second half of Sunday Funnies. Hang on, folks. Hello, comic book readers and collectors. My name is Randy Zimmerman, and I'm here to introduce you to the Fellowship of the Indies. The Fellowship is a group of creators that came together for a promising business deal that fell through. But don't worry, because what came from the deal were 9 spectacular comics from diverse genres and creators. All 9 books are printed and ready to go, along with metal bookmarks, retailer levels, and even month 2 books, which are being specially made for a short period. Just know that by pledging, you'll be getting 9 great comics, 32 pages of book, for the awesome price of $25 plus shipping. That's over 250 pages of incredible indie comics. So secure your copies today.
Podcast, it's Critical Blast.
And before we get back to it, we want to remind everybody, if you're like Glenn Fleming today and you're packing up your campaign in order to be shipped out to your pledgers, you might want to use you will want to use a Gemini mailer for that.
Mm-hmm.
You go over to GeminiComicSupply.com, use that coupon code RAGIN2, RAGIN2 on your way out. You'll get 5% off of your order for Gemini mailers. And you do want to ship your books out using a Gemini mailer. It's the safest way to get your product to your customers.
Oh, yes.
We appreciate you deeply for doing that as well.
Oh, also shout out to Christy Shin. I think her campaign for Demon Bitch finally funded.
Oh, did it? Good.
Yes.
I was hoping I'd be able to read that book. Yeah. Yeah. I think I've
I don't know how many. Well, it funded, but I know that it's probably still has some time left. So feel free to continue pledging to Christy Shin's Demon Bitch.
I think she's at 5 days left.
Oh, 5 days left. So on Kickstarter. So yes, feel free to continue supporting her.
I'm hoping she'll be on the next Zimcast.
Definitely.
Out that campaign. So.
Yeah. So as a quick reference, when Russell Allen was talking about how his introduction to comics was in comic book packs, just a quick comment about the Fellowship of the Indies and the long shots. If you want a real introduction to independent comics, real independent comics in one campaign, in one pack, one pledge, the long shots on Indiegogo and the Fellowship of the Indies on Kickstarter. Go to whichever one you prefer. You get 9 comics for $25 plus shipping. I mean, you get 9 comics for the cost of one book on crowdfunding, whichever campaign.
Yes.
That's 9 32-page comics expertly printed.
Yes.
That are just absolute beautiful products. Somebody's cat's purring. In the back.
Exactly. Yes, that's.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I went upstairs to get another soda, and I came back down. And it's like she hasn't seen me in like a week, and I'm like, no, get down.
Right. Yeah.
That's all right. You can have your cat. Right. Daphne's got her parrot.
Oh yeah, he's right here. So luckily, I guess because I am literally right next to the cage, he's keeping a little quiet right now, so he doesn't need to attract attention. So
this is my lover baby here. This is Savannah. Yeah, I rescued her.
Right. There you go. So yes, so
Mike, Jimmy, you joined us about a half an hour ago, and we didn't have you introduce yourself. So why don't you do that real quick here?
Hey everyone, I'm Mike Jimmy of Fairies and Ends. I create the series Loughran Korra, which we will be fulfilling issue 5 for really soon. We got way too many covers to choose from, and they're all the same price.
Oh, beautiful.
Including thanks to Daphne, because I really have to show this one.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that came out beautiful. Look at that.
Yes, it did.
Look at that.
And you can find it in my link tree. Where you can find my website and all other things if you don't want to support me through crowdfunding or just want to see where I hang out, besides here.
And so, do you have any extras of those stuffies left over?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got plenty. Okay.
Show them off, bro.
There we go.
Hey.
That entire big box is filled with plushies. It's a box. Yeah. The plushies are on top. Give me 1 second.
No, that's very exciting. It's always exciting to get like stuff like that done.
Yes.
As long as they're not like you're not sleeping on top of the boxes.
Yeah, there you go.
I have a cat.
It's as if you're talking from experience.
Oh, almost. You would think, right?
You can close the ears. And they are just too adorable. They're 40 euros each on Indiegogo right now, and they will be available for as long as I have them available.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Christy's ears must have been burning. Speak of the devil, like you guys are talking about her, and she just posted an update.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Just now.
Yeah, there we are.
Yeah.
Berserko says, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Huh?
Mike, didn't you say the other day that Korra was nominated for something?
No, I sent it in for a in Small Press Award here in the Netherlands. So I'm doing Loughran Korra 4. That's the one I sent in. I did that yesterday, so the nomination should be in June. I have no idea how it's going to turn out. I hope it will turn out good, because I would love to be an award-winning artist.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just going to see what happens. It's the story I am most proud of when it comes to the art and of the coloring. And it has a really strong moral to it. So I figured, you know what? I think that's the one that should do really well with an independent jury.
Actually learn something from Life on Korra. We have lessons in Life on Korra.
Yeah, there are some morals in these stories. I know, it's weird.
The professor asked, didn't Sauron start out because the code wouldn't let them use vampires? I am not positive on that.
Okay.
So no idea.
It's possible. No idea for sure, but there was a period there that they couldn't use vampires. But once they could, Dracula popped in, and you got this fantastic run by Gene Colan and Marv Wolfman. That's just one of those runs that's evergreen and untouchable.
Right. What is it? Someone had said that now that Dracula public domain, there's absolutely no reason to not have him in your book.
Yeah.
So.
Joe
I can think of a couple.
Facebook must have angered it. The ninja says, nice. Doesn't it take a certain hunger to be about his life? That must be a note about Dracula.
Right.
Going back to the jungle, if something calls your heart, you have to pursue. Classic. Yeah.
And that's why we're
that's
in
what
comics.
you were talking about.
that's
I'm behind on the chat again, as always.
We can't stop.
Right.
We tried.
Rog G loading us up with links again. Deeply appreciate it. Neil, or add Adam and Eve element to Tarzan, or at least hint to I can be a awesome story. For your information, I am not religious. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, there's definitely that whole, like, especially when Jane gets involved, but I don't know how much like that's more like the serials or that's the actual story, or
Jane comes in. Jane's there at the start, but she comes in and out a lot as a love interest. It's kind of a teasing romance for a while. But in the meantime, there's a few other lethal ladies that pop in and through the books, because Tarzan's Tarzan's the macho hunk that
of course, yes.
all the women want.
Right, exactly.
Of course.
Tarzan, the Jewels of Opar, again, is just a classic book.
Women want him and men want to be him.
Christy Shen says, I fucking funded.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Or I fucking funded. One or the other.
She was very excited.
Very excited. Great, Christy. We're congratulations. We're real happy you did. I can't wait to read that book. I don't care if this is a kid's channel.
No, technically it's not.
Yeah, technically. It's not meant to be a kid's channel.
Right,
but we like to celebrate all kinds of comics, especially comics that can be read by everyone on this show. And everyone can read well, maybe not young kids, but almost everyone can read Demon Bitch.
Right. No kind. Well.
Well.
Yeah, you're right. It's like if, you know what? If you're what is it, that Dog Man's target audience? Maybe not.
Yeah, probably not. Might be a little.
Demon Bitch
hard.
not getting published by Scholastic anytime
I will.
soon.
Rich will show his titties anyway. Oh yeah, Perota.
Right. Yeah. Well, pasties.
Pasties. Yeah. Keep back in that shit.
Yeah,
Nita
exactly,
says absolutely. Oh, the cat is so cute. Christy says Christy's got a few cats of her own.
Thanks, Christy. She's my little baby. I rescued her.
Frog G says one of those is mine. Says not me.
One of those plushies he means.
Yeah.
It can be. We never talk about comics on this show.
Oh,
Glenn,
well.
you're on it most of the time, buddy.
The kitty's my support kitty.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Mouse did, yeah. Absolutely. Speaking of comics for kids.
Yeah.
We have Russell Allen on the show to tell us all about Cat Kid and Piggy Girl.
Yeah, Cat and Piggy Girl. So
Cat. Sorry, Cat, not Cat Kid.
No, you're fine.
I knew I was going to mistake those today. I knew that was going to happen. I am so sorry.
So no, it's totally fine. So to give a little bit of background, my son has had 2 open heart surgeries and 3 cardiac caths. And when we are in the hospital and we go through the surgeries, it's an all-day thing. It's stressful. We go up there. We're trying to console them and we're trying to take away the pain. And the nurses bring in a Spider-Man Hot Wheel. It's like a 99-cent toy, and all of a sudden he forgets about being in pain. And I'm like, this is awesome. I want to find a way to give back to that. So following year, I found out about comic books for kids. I started giving to them every week. And I met Mark at C2E2 in 19. And I told Mark, which he's the owner, the creator of Comic Books for Kids, cb4k.org. And I was like, I appreciate everything you do. I'm like, but it's not just good for the kids. It's good for the parents because it gives us time to sit back and breathe while our child is not thinking about being in pain, not thinking about, hey, I just had my chest ripped open and surgery done. And I'm like, it gives us time to relax and de-stress after a long day like that. And so following year, I tried to publish Xeno Nanite Titan, and it failed, unfortunately. But I had Seth Wilson draw up some art for a T-shirt that's had me as Xeno Nanite Titan, Roderick in bed after an open heart surgery, And Wendy Steen Shaner had the great idea of adding Sissy at the end of the bed with get well balloons. So I threw it on the Kickstarter, and I was like, this is going to a charity if you buy one. Just don't tell Kickstarter. And so unfortunately it failed. The next day after it failed, it actually was a success because Mark seen that T-shirt on Facebook. First thing he logged in, and he has his daughter message me and say, "Hey, Dad wants to talk to you." So I call him up, and he's like, "How would you like to be the official T-shirt supplier for CB4K?" And I said, "Heck yeah, let's do it." So I had some designs made up. We threw them up on the website the following year, last year actually in March. And I was like, how can we take this one step further? I'm like, how about doing auctions? So he's like, yeah, that's a great idea. So I started auctioning off art. We had a ton of donors that donated stuff for me to auction off. Overall, I think so far we've raised almost $5,000 since September of last year when I started doing it. And so November, I go to Steph and Carrie's house. We went up there and hung out with them for a few days for my wife's birthday. And Carrie's like, why don't you write a book for comic books for kids? And it's in the money over. And I'm like, that's a great idea. Well, then I thought about the idea a little more. I'm like, what about just like writing a book? Everybody sends money for shipping and stuff. And, they're sponsored by Boom and Dark Horse and IDW, Pop, as they all send stuff to CB4K to send out. But there's really nothing geared towards sick children in hospitals or, superheroes with critical illnesses. So I kept thinking, what am I going to do for this project? So January rolls around and we're laying in bed. And I'm like, I've got it. My wife's like, you got what? COVID, the clap, what do you got? And I'm like, no, I got the idea. I'm like, what is the one thing Roderick always takes to the hospital with him? He takes Cat, which is his cat that I got him when he was 11 months old at Purina Farms. We went there for Halloween. They have these haunted houses. They have animals dressed as monsters. It's really cool. So he picked out Cat, and that's his one thing that he cannot go without. So then the following year when Adriana was born, she was a month old. I let her pick one out. She picked out Piggy. And I'm like, what if their stuffed animals have superpowers? And somehow through an unfortunate event, maybe it's a fortunate event, they assume the superpowers of their stuffed animals and they become superheroes. I'm like, this is a great idea because kids in the hospitals most of the time will either have their favorite blanket or their favorite stuffed animal. If they read this book, not only are they going to get escapism through the book and have fun with it, they're going to have escapism because they're going to take their stuffed animal. Maybe they're going to write their own comic with them. Maybe they're going to go on their own adventures with them in their head. And then a third thing, I could create a page where, of course, with their parents' permission, they can post pictures of them with their stuffed animals. And maybe in the sequel, I'll put all the kids on a wheel, spin it, whatever kid it lands on, them and their stuffed animal get to be the sidekick in the next issue. So we're giving them hope, strength, and inspiration through reading the book. We're giving them something to imagine about, and we're giving them excitement because they could be the sidekick in the next book. So I reached out. Steph and Carrie did a cover. Chuck Pino did the editing. Rodney did the main cover, Rodney Fike, and he did all the interior illustrations. We also had CB Zane and April Reyna do a cover for it. I wrote the story. Chuck edited it. And it's almost completely done coloring, and pretty soon they'll be going off to Jason Meadows for lettering. And so I'm hoping at least by the end of the campaign, the book will be done and ready to go to print, or when the money's received, it'll definitely be done and ready to go to print. So I'm super excited. The book is about Roderick and Adriana. My son is a critical illness child because he was only born with a single coronary artery. So he had to have surgery to put a cadaver artery in that he outgrows, it wears out. He's going to have open heart surgeries for the rest of his life.
Wow.
He can't ride, rides at Six Flags and at amusement parks. He can't do this. He can't do that. He can't participate in gym at school. And it really bothers me because kids make fun of him because he's different. So in the first book, I'm going to personally deliver them to Mark if we get the 5K. The stretch goal for that will be me doing a live video. I'm going to drive up to Washington, Illinois, to the CB4K headquarters, do like a live Q&A. People be able to talk to the creator, and then I'm going to hand deliver the hopefully truckload of books to Mark, and we're going to do like a tour of the CB4K facility. and do a small interview with Mark. It's going to be a lot of fun. So basically what you're doing here is you're getting a book. You do get a copy of the book, and then Profits will just print extras to send to hospitals and cancer centers. It's a big deal to me because as a father to a critical illness child, I see the benefit that just a 99-cent toy can make. I see the benefit that a $1 coloring book from Dollar Tree can make. So these comic books are going to make a huge difference, and it's also going to spread the word about CB4K. My big thing is when I'm gone, when Mark's gone, who's going to carry the torch? Who's going to keep CB4K going? These kids are. And so without knowing about CB4K, without, benefiting from CB4K, they'll never know that this charity exists or how important it is. The outcry has been phenomenal with me asking. I've had people from the UK all over say, hey, I love what you're doing. It's a beautiful thing. I had this done when I was a kid. I really wish something like this existed then. Keep up the good work. And if you ever need anything, ask me and I'll take care of you. And so, the outcry has been phenomenal. And even through doing this, I've had people reach out to me from the UK and say, hey, I wish we had something like this here. I'm like, talk to Mark. So a month and a half ago, going on 2 months ago, CB4K UK has officially opened up, and they are starting to send stuff out to hospitals and cancer centers everywhere. We also exist in Canada. So this is something that is, in 4 years has grown to be a huge thing. They started out with like 17 hospitals. We're over 200 hospitals now. So there's a lack of books. There's a lack of funds to send the books to all these hospitals. So you donating to cb4k.org directly will help ship out all the books, the pop figurines, the Pez dispensers, the stuffed animals to these hospitals and cancer centers. And backing this book will also allow for another supply of books to send to kids that's written specifically to help not just regular kids, but kids with disabilities.
That's great. And again, if you want to learn more about comic books for kids, cb4k.org. You go over there.
And that's CB, the number 4, and then k.org.
Yes. And the campaign is Cat, Cat, and Piggy Girl. That "and" is an ampersand. Cat, Cat, and Piggy Girl issue number 1 over on Kickstarter right now. Go over there and take a look. Add to that campaign if you can. It's a worthy cause.
Yeah,
and please share it out. That's the biggest thing. If you cannot, if you can throw $1 at it, that would be awesome. I'm not going to be offended. I like to tell everybody that because people are like, oh, I don't have a lot of money. I would only be able to put $1. And I'm like, $1 makes a difference. People follow you on Kickstarter. When you back a project, an email goes out to everybody that follows you. So for that $1, you just bought me 300 ads, 200 ads, 1,000 ads, however many people that follow you. I will not be offended at all. If you donate $1, if you donate $5, if you donate $10, I will never be offended and be like, oh, I can't believe you did that. I implore you to please, if you could, donate $1 or at least share it out. If you don't have $1, share it out because the share is worth its weight in gold. I need everyone to see this. My goal is I at least want to hit 5K. And, I would be over the moon if I could hit 10K with this because that would mean, 8,000 or more books will be able to go to these kids in hospitals and cancer centers. Parents are going to find out about CB4K and hopefully start supporting it so it can grow. And you're going to make a lot of kids smile. Possibly, make a parent see their child smile for the last time. I mean, some of these kids don't ever get to go home. So your $10, your $5 could potentially be huge to a parent somewhere out there.
Sugar Chris in the house. Thanks, Sugar, for listening. This sounds like a great idea. Yeah. Glenn Fleming says, if anyone deserves government funding, it's Russell. Well done, Russ.
Thank you very much, Glenn.
And Sugar comes back and says, I hope I get my computer back up and running before this campaign ends so I can try and have him on my show.
Yeah.
I would very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Sugar runs a great show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, like I said, this means the absolute world to me. I mean, I am so passionate about Xeno and Nanite Titan, and I'm passionate about everything that I do, but I'm hyper passionate about this. If anything, when I launched, it had a project we love, and I was. If you go back and watch the launch show that I did with Catch the Craze podcast, I literally blew everybody's eardrums out because you see me go like this, and I'm like, what?
Just catching the email.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even get the email. It launched with Project We Love. When I launched it, it was already on there. I didn't notice it.
Okay, that's funny.
And I'm like, I looked in, and I'm like, oh my God, we got Project We Love, because that's what I told everybody, my wife, everybody that we were talking about. I'm like, if any project gets Project We Love, I really want this to get it so everybody can see it. And it's been a great help because it's gotten more eyes on the project. We've been kick tracking almost every day. We've been in the top 25, so I'm really appreciative of that because more eyes are getting on it. And it stayed pretty steady. We get like 1 or 2 pledges a day, so I'm really happy about that. Luckily I haven't hit a dead zone. As long as I get a few pledges every day, I'm happy with that. And I'm super excited. We're at 323%. I mean, this is for the kids, people, and the outcry has been amazing. And I thank everyone who has had me on a show. You can either pledge the campaign or you can go to cb4k.org. They have a donate tab there. You can donate straight to them, and that all goes towards shipping. It is a 501c recognized charity, so that it is 100%. It all goes to the kids. It's nonprofit. Nothing is taken. Nothing is kept. So you can either go back the project and support them through the books, or you can go to that CB4K website, and it's at the very top. There's a donate button, and they accept PayPal on there. Or you can go on Facebook and you just type in comic books for kids. It's all one word. Have a good day, Frog.
Frog G has to hop out. Wishes us all a great day. Thank you so much, Frog G, for popping by and your contribution to the show. We do deeply appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. We do.
Sorry to interrupt the train of thought there, but
no, you're good.
That's Cat and Piggy Girl over on Kickstarter. There's 3,230 donated are pledged already to this campaign from 50 backers. 18 days left to go. So go over there, Kickstarter right now, Cat and Piggy Girl issue 1. Do buy into this. It is a worthy cause.
And I do want to add one last thing. If anybody has any art sitting around that you've taken to shows that you can't sell, that is just sitting in your portfolio, or anything that you would like to send to me, I will put it up on the campaign. Right now we're sitting at like $1,700 of the campaign is just from donations from great people who have big hearts. And I put the 3D figure of Raziel on there. We've had art from Wendy. We've had stuff from Ed's Artworks. It's just been amazing. That stuff's selling. There's no overhead on it for me. They're already buying a book. I'm adding the art to the package. So that $100 for that art piece, or that $150 for that art piece, is $150 going towards books. There's no overhead. There's nothing to be printed. It's already done. So if you have anything you'd love to send me, whatever it is, it can be inappropriate art. I can censor it out, because you got to be 18 to have a Kickstarter account anyway. So, if you're guying the add-on, it's not going to the kids. The books I'm printing are going to the kids. So I have no problem with putting up art if there's nudity on it. It's not like I haven't done it before. So please don't feel like, oh, well, my art's risque. It doesn't matter. There's adults buying this stuff.
If you have a Neil Adams Vampirella sketch just lying around.
Luckily, it's going to go up in value anyway. Guys, Russell is one of the kindest people that I know, and I'm being called the kindest people that people know, so that's saying something, I think. And he does a lot for a lot of other people. He does a very fun show on Saturday nights, if I recall correctly. Yeah, it was Saturday nights because it's my Sunday early morning. That is totally worth checking out. He supports a ton of other creators, and he's doing this 100% for the kids, including his own child. Go share it around. Go give a damn, because if you don't, then nobody will.
Yeah. Too true.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that, buddy.
Again, Cat and Piggy Girl issue 1 on Kickstarter. Go ahead, Daphne.
Yeah, no. So aside from just donating, which people can just do, it's like I said, if you can just put $1 in, what's the level that you recommend, for people who are seeing this? It's like, what's the kind of like the best level,
So right now, I have the $10 digital. I have the all of the covers are $30 each. That includes shipping. I never add shipping on. I like to be transparent because nothing worse. I know everybody's on the fence. They like the shipping shown. They don't like it shown. I like being able to click on a tier and be like, all right, it's still $30 and then go on. Nothing's worse than clicking on a book and being like, oh, the book's only $12 and it's $15 shipping. You're like, oh shit, now it's $27.
Yeah, exactly.
So all of the books are $30. If you hop in on the all 4 covers tier, you do get a discount on that at $20, so it's only $100. And then I also have retailer tiers too. So if you know retailers that are looking, for fun books, they got the 10-pack for $150 or the 20-pack for $250. We already sold one of the 20 packs. And there's also the add-ons. Hadson Productions was kind enough to include Pitter Patter. So you can get the Pitter Patter digital add-on. You get book 1 and 2 for $10. Or you can add the single issue 1 for $10, the second issue 1 for $10, or you can get both physical copies for $15. And again, all that money is going towards printing extra books. So I appreciate them adding on another kid's book. It's an amazing story. It's Buddy and Dude. Rodney has 3 cats, and he's down in the studio, and every day that he's drawing, they're up there running around. He hears banging and crashing and stuff falling over. And he's like, I wonder what's going on up there. So one day he's just like, I'm going to draw adventures of Buddy and Dude and just make up stories about what's going on with the cats upstairs. So it's another fun kids book. So you can pick up a regular book, and you can pick up issue 1 and 2 of that, and that's $45 shipped. And that whatever you guys are into doing. I mean, like I said before, the Pitter Patter's awesome. I've got books 1 and 2. Book 3 is going to go a little crazy off the rails. Rodney and I have been talking. Just remember cheese dust. Hashtag cheese dust. So I mean, all of the tiers, like you said, they're $30. I recommend the 4-pack, of course. You got to get all 4 covers and have the collection, because this isn't something I'm going to stop doing. Next year, around this time, I'm going to launch issue 2. I'm going to pace it out and do it like 1 issue a year, just because everybody that is a part of this project, myself, Chuck Pino, Rodney Fike, Jason Meadows, CB Zane, April Reyna, all of these people have, donated their time to do the artwork, to do the lettering, to do the cover work, CB Zane and all of them. And I want to give time for issue 2 for them to be able to do it, instead of being like, I got 3 months to get this project done. You know what I mean? So, like I said, everything, we're like 80%. I think when I talked to them Tuesday, 1 through 5 were completely done. So we've got 7 more pages. It is only a 12-page story. The reason being is kids have a short attention span, first of all. Second of all, it is a free book with, everybody doing it. I didn't want to be like, hey, Rodney, can you draw 24 pages for me? That's a big commitment. Rodney's got his own projects. He's getting ready to launch Roadkill Rampage 3. He's got Pitter Patter 3 in works to come out after that. And so, I kept it at 12 pages just because, everybody donated their time, donated their art. So it is only a 12-page book. I put it in the story. I don't want anybody to be like, hey, I paid $30 for this book and it's 12 pages. It's like, you didn't buy a book. You bought books for other kids. It's about the charity. It's not about the book.
Right.
But it's funny. I would have never thought of that it's like, that would make sense to make a 12. It's like, the kids got other things still. They still have other things going on. They're not going to sit there reading a graphic novel.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can tell you a 10, 12-page story or a collection of little short stories that'll keep them busy, and they can always put the book down and pick it back up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because there is a lot going on. In their lives. So Glenn Fleming says, I'd like to donate some art for your fundraiser. Russ, you may get back. You may get $1 for it. DM me with the details and I'll get it to you.
Thank you, sir.
And
I appreciate that very much.
Yeah. Sugar Chris says, it ain't easy being cheesy.
That's right. It ain't easy being cheesy. Oh my God. Like Pitter Patter 3 is going to go nuts. So all I'm saying is Pitter Patter 3 is going to be more of an adult book. So you got to get issues 1 and 2. I can't release any details other than it's going to get crazy. #cheese dust.
Well. Let's just clarify that for a bit. Adult, as in, like I'm watching Mel Brooks movies at 12 years old, and only now am I understanding a lot of the jokes. It's like we're talking about like that, right?
I plead the fifth. I've already said too much. Right? I hope you're not watching, Rodney. No, I'm just kidding. Like I've been putting it out there every show that I'm on. I'm like, people, you got to get issues 1 and 2 because Rodney and I have been talking about the script for issue 3, and it's about to go off the rails. Like he loves drawing the kid stuff, but he wants to get away from doing like kid stories. Now, don't get me wrong, he loves Cat and Piggy Girl. This is one of his proudest projects, by the way. He is so proud of the art on this, how he's evolved in doing this. And I called him out on the show. I'm like, hey, producer B did say that, this is the proudest art that you've done. And he just smiled from ear to ear. He's like, I'm so happy with the way this art turned out on here. And also, if you guys want to meet the creators, there is a link in here in the story. Well, actually, no, it's down above the creators. I'm sorry. There's a link to the YouTube video. I did an hour-long show. Yeah, there you go. It's right above my head. Go up a little bit. There's Rodney. There's my Goofy. Right there is the link to the YouTube. You can go watch me interview all the creators and have fun and call out Rodney on there. It's an hour-long show. You can meet everybody. I asked them why CB4K is important to them and each of their messages. But, Pitter Patter 3 is going to go towards more of a... That is my favorite picture of Rodney. I had to put it in there. I'm like, he's going to kill me.
Terry Gilliam, animation for a second there.
But yeah, so you definitely need to pick up the add-ons. Pick add-on Pitter Patter 1 and 2 because trust me, Pitter Patter 3 is going to be an adult book oriented. #cheese dust. Right. You guys are trying to persuade me into saying too much here. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a t-shirt right there, by the way.
Oh, I can make it a t-shirt. Anybody wants this as a t-shirt, I will make it for you.
Cat and Piggy Girl over on Kickstarter right now. Go over there and take a look. Let me shrink him back down.
Give him some love.
Right.
Because otherwise, this guy's going to stare at you for the coming day.
Right, exactly. You're going to keep staring at you until you flinch.
Yeah, Rodney will haunt your dreams. You'll see that image of him looking at you every time you close your eyes for not. No, I'm just kidding. For not helping the kids. See, that's what happens. He's like Freddy Krueger. Dun dun dun.
No, yeah, exactly, right. I was lucky enough to read the original to that Superman duty piece, and it's actually a really beautiful piece. It's small, but like the colors are so vibrant on it, and what I like the best about it is that it looks like it could be painted on the side of a 7 train. Like it has that very like graffiti feeling to it. So if you want to get some original artwork from Rodney Fike, I highly recommend it. Yeah,
and it was awesome of them. They offered up 2 commission spots for the add-ons, and that's why I had that duty piece up there. And the commission sold in like the first day or 2.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's another $300 that was raised for the kids with no overhead, which was absolutely amazing. Yeah. So I appreciate everything Hasm Productions does. So definitely, guys, anybody that has had anything or has anything to do with this project, please support them because they've given up their time and they're continually giving up their time by donating to the auctions, and I appreciate each and every one of them.
Sugar says that's a face that could be used in memes.
Right, yeah.
It does get used in memes. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah. Voice for radio. That's a new one. Voice for radio, face for memes.
Yeah. Dan says, don't know if my art would help. It would help you out, but if it would be, I'd be willing to do something for you to help support. Yeah.
Yeah. If you would, please send me a friend request. Glenn, I sent you a friend request and I'll send you a message here shortly, but please send me a friend request. If you can't find me, it's russell.allen.10, the number 10, not the spelled out. So it's russell.allen.10, or you can hit me up at Russ Explode Studios Books with Heart or the auction page. Guys, please check that out as well.
The chair.
There is an auction page that I do monthly. It's Russ Explode Studios Charity Auctions for CB4K. So if you look up Russ Explode Studios, you'll find those two pages. Please go like and follow those because I'm always looking for stuff to put up monthly. February, we raised $800 for CB4K to help ship out. And average,
nice.
It's like $25 a box to ship out. So $800 is a big deal.
And like Russell said earlier, it can be adult artwork, Dan, because I see here you go by the nickname Boob Dan.
Yeah. So yeah.
It can be adult. The money or the artwork goes
to
adults. The money goes towards printing more books for the kids.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I have no problem with getting art that's going to give me 2 black eyes. So
right.
So I guess
continuing dovetailing on with the start of the show.
Yeah. Oh man.
Once again, Russell, thanks for being on the show. Make sure you tell folks how to get a hold of you. Will you?
Yeah, folks, you can get a hold of me at Russ Explode Studios Books with Heart, where I am an author, a card game creator, a comic writer, and a huge promoter and member of CB4K.org. You can hit me up at russell.allen.10 on Facebook. You can hit me up at Russ Explode Studios Books with Heart, Russ Explode Studios Charity Auctions for CB4K. Better yet, just Google Russ Explode and you will find me on everything because I use that for everything. It's been my thing since like 1998. So I have been Russ Explode just because I like to blow up stuff. Honestly, that's what I went to school for. High explosives. So that's where that comes from. And as you can see, there's huge explosions here. Oh yeah, I've demoed buildings, demoed bridges, blasted parking lots. I mean, I've made some pretty big booms. But you can hit me up. You can also find me at Russ Explode on Twitch and Russ Explode Studios on YouTube. Please check out all the creator interviews. I have over 300 interviews plus the Blastcast show. Right now I'm on hiatus because I'm pending back surgery. I was supposed to have it last Wednesday, but insurance canceled it. So I'm kind of down and out right now. I was supposed to be possibly doing it this Thursday. So definitely check out the shows. They will return. I'm doing some pop-up shows on the 15th. I have one with, I believe, George Medina. And I'll be doing some more shows this week. I'll be on Zimcast. So guys, like, share, follow Randy Zimmerman, follow his channel, and thank you so much for having me, guys. I really truly appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Russell, thanks a lot for being on. Mr. Pete Pagel, I'm hoping I'm not massacring that name, has a book called Goblin Girl. Yeah. Boob Dan. Anyway.
Yep.
It's all in the name.
Yes.
It's all in the name, yeah.
Mike, Jimmy, tell folks how they can find you.
You can find me on my Linktree, Fairies and Ents, and you can find Loughran Cora issue 5 if you like her cover or any of the others. Still available on Indiegogo. And we will be fulfilling in only a couple of weeks, and we're 47 euros away from our next stretch goal, which unlocks a new sticker pack.
Ooh,
so,
very nice,
that literally one plushie being sold, and we will have that unlocked. So be quick because time is running out.
Sweet. Okay, Daphne, tell folks.
I know, right? Yes, you can find me over. You can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWRKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites. But I mostly hang out at Facebook. If you want to see like daily, almost daily sketches and uploads and work in progress and whatever else I put up there. And also you can check me out on my own YouTube channel at Daphne Lage, Lager, where you can find videos on how I make all my comics, and I do also a weekly live stream every Wednesday, although this one might be up in the air because my office is getting finally fixed. So no more flooding. Hooray. So egoworks.com to find pretty much everything you need to know about it. So
sweet. You can find Daphne's and my work over here at the Long Shots campaign on Indiegogo, where we're offering 9 books for $25 plus $10 in shipping. So, or depending upon where you are in the world, it might be a little more. Also, over at the Fellowship of the Indies, you can find us over on Kickstarter under Fellowship of the Indies, or over on Indiegogo under the Long Shots. Do take a look at those books. It's a great way to get into 9 fantastic properties. And these properties aren't going away. These books were printed for a deal that was supposed to go out to a national retail chain, and then we found out the deal never existed in the first place. And we have lots of copies to sell to you. And each book was originally cover price at $4.99, so you're getting a great deal here. Beautifully printed books, 3 staples on the spine. Fantastic. 3 staples. Fantastic paper quality. Just the print quality is unmatched. And I've been in this business for decades, and I was blown away when I saw how these books looked, and so proud to be at the time. So proud to be associated with the deal. Now we just want to pass them out to you so that you can see how good and how great these properties are.
Yeah.
You get God's Hand by Anthony Figueroa and Marcus. Herobot Zero that I did. Hybrids, The Sons of Gods by Luke Stone. Only Death Can Save Us by the great Russ Leach. Oswald Chronicles by J.D. Calderon, and whose artist's name escapes me. And it's a beautifully colored book. Revolt, which is an anthology book that has J.R. Harris and Emily Zelasco, myself. I have at least one story in there. Shield of the Interceptor by J.D. Rosario and Russ Leach again doing the artwork on that. Tall Tales by Daphne and J.D.'s writing as well, and Wellkeeper by D. Fish. All of these properties are great, great books. You will not regret buying into the Long Shots campaign over on Indiegogo or the Fellowship of the Indies over on Kickstarter. And if you get into the Fellowship of the Indies over on Kickstarter, you can actually order, I believe, PDF copies of the month 2 books that were done.
Well, that too. We're specially having them specially printed just for the campaign, so you can have actual physical copies of the month 2 books.
And I've got 2 number 1s over there that I am especially proud of. That's Calico of Shard.
Yes.
That I wrote, that C. Michael Lanning, who does Dispatches from Outside the Box, did the artwork on. And Paragon, which is a superhero title that I wrote, that J.R. Harris did the artwork on. Both books, like I said, I am especially proud of.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't wait to see them in print, even on a small print run. That everybody that's read them has liked them that I know of.
Yes.
At least the ones that'll talk to me about it. So.
No. Paragon was really a surprising book. I am looking forward to seeing these books printed as well. So.
I wish we could have continued them, because we had a lot of plans, and you will probably see these properties offered in the future.
Yeah.
On campaigns themselves, because I'm not going to stop writing just because this deal fell through.
Right. Exactly.
I really like these properties. I've always wanted to do both of them for the longest time. This seemed like such the ideal time to do it. And just really proud of the efforts by the C. Michael and JR on these books. Just phenomenal stuff, guys. So go over there and take a look at those campaigns. You can find me. I'm Randy Zimmerman. You can find me over on Facebook under Randy Zimmerman. You can find me probably appearing more often over on Twitter under Randy Zim. Now that old Elon has taken over, and for some reason everybody up there on Twitter's been scared of their algorithm lately, and they actually seem to be starting to treat people a little bit fairer. So there have been a lot of reports of a lot of people getting a lot of followers all of a sudden, boom, like overnight. They're growing by hundreds, and that can only be a great thing. So other than that, you can find Arrow Comics 4.0 over on Linktree. We've got our own Facebook page, not an Indiegogo page, but a Instagram page, a Twitter page for that too. Daphne is good people.
Oh, thank
Dojo
you.
Comics. Dojo in the house. Russell is good people.
Hey.
Thank you, Dojo.
Thanks, Dojo. Oh, here's one. Randy is good people
Oh,
too.
there we go. Oh, we were about
Thank
to
you.
question that.
Hashtag Elon Musk.
I don't have to be good people, but I appreciate that. I really do.
We're all the good people.
as well.
There we
We're all
go.
good
Okay.
people.
We're all good people here.
Thank you so
We're
much.
all good people. There you go.
Well,
We
let's
need to
put the
talk real
whisper
quick.
out there. Elon, please buy Doritos so we actually get a full bag of Doritos and not a quarter of a bag.
Right.
Amen.
Exactly.
There's
Yes.
also
Yes.
a tweet circulating that Elon's looking at buying Marvel Comics and putting Jim Shooter back as editor-in-chief. That can only
Yeah.
mean real money.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Though, and Disney right now really needs that help because holy crap, have you seen their stock?
Mhm.
Oh yeah. It's been
Ooh, yes.
all over the place. Yeah.
It's on a fast flutter downwards in
Yeah,
a real
it's-
quick bad way. Yeah. I saw that. I saw that scale. It looks like the ride from one of their roller coasters.
Yeah. That's the new Cosmic Rewind.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, you've been listening to the Zimcast for the 1st of May,
There we go. Day 1.
2022. We deeply appreciate you listening, you watching. Make sure you go over to the Ragin 2 network over on YouTube and subscribe. Hit that like button over there for this broadcast too. If you enjoyed this broadcast at all, you'll see me next time over at I don't know if I'm going to be on this episode of Dispatches from Beyond the Box because they're covering role playing, and that's not really something I do.
Right. Yeah. So
But,
it's
I might step out for this one. C. Michael's got a rotating
sleep.
cast over there. Yeah. Well, I'm also working on a book about my last 6 months worth of experience dealing with COVID in the hospital system.
Now, speaking of
So,
sleeping.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of sleeping there.
And nothing like, I went going into the emergency room for antibiotics and waking up 6 weeks later unable to move.
Right.
Good times.
This,
And with
this
a trach
kinda
in
sucks.
your throat and a scar on your cheek and all sorts of wonders.
Yeah.
The wife took a picture because she didn't believe it was me when she first saw me. I had that dead man stare. So
Right.
hey, everybody.
Wow.
Good times. Good times.
Right.
And we'll be back next Sunday morning.
exactly.
Daphne might be
Yes.
with me. Glenn,
Yes, I
Glenn
will.
might
Yes, I
be
will.
with me. Who knows who else might
Uh-huh.
we might be able to
We'll
get to
show
tag
up.
along. Scott Rosema needs to wake up early Sunday morning. I keep sending him links. He keeps not showing up. Scott, wake up early Sunday morning.
We're getting
Come
the
in
band
and
back
join
together.
Sunday Funnies. You have a book to promote. Damn it. And you
There
need
we
to
go.
get up in time
There we
to
go,
show
yeah.
people. He's got a great sword and sorcery book, and he went through and printed a bunch of copies himself,
Oh.
and he's selling them at shows and that.
Uh,
Dojo says I'm a long
yeah.
time TTRPG player. When is that stream? Dispatches from beyond the or outside the box. Dispatches from outside the box Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dojo, that's when C. Michael will be talking about role playing games over there. I will be back on Wednesday for sure at 9 p.m. for the Zimcast, which I host again. We'll cover some of that situation that we talked about earlier in the broadcast, and we'll see everybody soon. We're going to go out the way we came in.
But wait. One last word though.
Sure.
Buy independent comics, especially ours.
There we go.
From the
There we go. It's good to be back.
Up the back of Glenn Fleming's spine. I can guarantee you that right now. Oh, and Sarah, if you're listening, there we go. We hope you're out there. We hope everybody comes back and joins us next week. If you like this program, make sure you tell your friends. And that's the only way word spreads in this industry. That's why we like having people like Russell on who have such great causes that we want to promote. We want people to know about. If you find comics out there that you love, that you know are great, that entertained you greatly, go out there and tell your friends. Buy them for gifts if you have to. Christmas isn't, it's 7-8 months away. But even still, everybody has birthdays, and everybody deserves to be felt like you appreciate them.
Yeah.
And giving the gift of comics is the best gift. I think that one of the best gifts that you can give. So
get them for your niece, get them for your nephew, get them for your grandkids,
Absolutely.
get them for your kids,
Everybody.
get them for the neighbor kid.
Yeah, get them. Get it for the neighbor kid. Maybe they won't. Be on your lawn so much. Get off
my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Here's a comic.
Read a comic. Read a funny book.
Ragin 2 says, I'll hit you up, Dojo. ABC says, Postmaster Dan. So we'll see everybody soon. Take care. Love you all. Like Daphne said, do appreciate or do buy independent and alternative comics, especially ours.
Yeah.
Make sure you try to leave this industry in better shape than what you found it, will you?
Yeah, definitely.
That's important. We'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Stay awesome, lovelies.
That's not.
And who's your favorite Marvel Comics hero? Mine is Superman. Remember the motto? With great power comes great responsibility.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
I swear.